The Mirror's Edge. Anna had always been drawn to antique shops, her apartment a testament to her fascination with bygone eras. One rainy afternoon, she stumbled into a small, dusty store, nestled between two towering skyscrapers. The place was packed with old furniture, vintage trinkets, and faded photographs. It was a treasure trove of forgotten memories. As she wandered through the dimly lit aisles, a peculiar object caught her eye, a large ornate mirror framed in intricate, dark wood. The glass was slightly foggy, but it exuded an aura of elegance and mystery. Despite its price tag being far beyond her budget, she felt a strange compulsion to buy it. The shopkeeper, a grizzled old man with a knowing smile, handed her the mirror with a cryptic warning. "Be careful what you wish to see," he said. Anna, dismissing his words as mere salesmanship, took the mirror home. That night she placed the mirror in her bedroom. As she gazed into it, she noticed the reflection seemed slightly off. The room appeared dimmer, the colors more muted, as if seen through a veil of fog. Shaking off the unease, she went to bed, unaware that her life was about to change forever. Over the following weeks, Anna began to notice strange occurrences. Objects in her apartment seemed to shift positions when she wasn't looking. Shadows moved in the corners of her vision, and sometimes she thought she saw a figure standing just out of sight in the mirror's reflection. One evening, while reading a book in bed, Anna glanced at the mirror and saw a woman's face peering back at her from the glass. The woman had hollow eyes and a sorrowful expression. Anna spun around, but the room was empty. When she looked back at the mirror, the face was gone. Determined to uncover the truth, Anna began researching the mirror's history. She discovered that it had once belonged to a wealthy family in the 19th century. The daughter of the family, Isabella, had vanished mysteriously, leaving only a cryptic note behind. Trapped between worlds. Disturbed, Anna tried to contact the antique shop, but the store had mysteriously closed down, and no one seemed to know where the shopkeeper had gone. She realized she had to face whatever was haunting her. One stormy night, as lightning illuminated her apartment, Anna stood before the mirror, demanding answers. The reflection began to shimmer and warp. The sorrowful face of Isabella appeared again, but this time she spoke. "Help me," Isabella's voice echoed through the glass. "I am trapped. My soul is bound to this mirror." Anna's heart raced. "How can I help you?" Isabella's face twisted in anguish. "Find the key. It's hidden behind the mirror." With trembling hands, Anna pried the mirror from the wall and removed the back panel. Behind it, she found an old rusted key. The moment she touched it, the mirror's surface rippled, and Isabella's reflection began to reach out. Anna held the key tightly, and with a deep breath, inserted it into a hidden lock on the mirror's frame. The glass shattered, and a wave of icy air swept through the room. Isabella's face appeared one last time, her expression now peaceful, the mirror's shards scattered across the floor. Anna felt a profound sense of relief as the oppressive atmosphere lifted. She realized that the mirror had been a prison for Isabella's restless spirit, trapped between worlds for over a century. The mysterious occurrences ceased, and Anna no longer felt the eerie presence that had haunted her. The antique shop remained closed, and Anna never saw the shopkeeper again. Though the mirror was gone, she kept the rusted key as a reminder of the ordeal. It now hung on a chain around her neck, a symbol of her encounter with the unknown. To this day, Anna is cautious about the allure of antique objects. She knows that sometimes the past holds secrets that should remain buried, and that curiosity can lead one to the edge of a mirror's dark reflection. where unseen horrors lurk just beyond the glass. The Last Call. Every Friday night, the old payphone at the end of Maple Street rang precisely at midnight. It had been out of service for years, its faded paint peeling away to reveal rusted metal underneath. No one knew who kept calling, but the locals whispered that it was the spirit of a woman who had vanished decades ago. Sarah, a young journalist with a penchant for the macabre, had heard the stories but dismissed them as urban legends. Intrigued by the mystery, she decided to investigate. On a chilly October night, she arrived at the payphone, her breath visible in the cold air. She checked her watch, 11:57 p.m. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, Sarah set up her camera and audio equipment, determined to capture whatever might happen. At precisely 12 a.m., the payphone rang. Heart pounding, Sarah picked up the receiver. The line crackled with static, then a voice emerged, barely above a whisper. "Help me." The voice was soft, almost childlike, but there was an edge of desperation. Sarah's fingers tightened around the receiver. "Who is this? Where are you?" The line went dead. Sarah tried to call back, but the phone line was dead, just as it had been for years. She glanced around the deserted street, her breath fogging in the night air. A sense of unease settled over her. Determined to uncover the source of the call, Sarah returned to her office and began her research. The story she found was chilling. A woman named Emily Parker had disappeared exactly 30 years ago, last seen on Maple Street. Despite extensive searches, no trace of her had ever been found. Her disappearance remained one of the town's greatest mysteries. The following Friday, Sarah was back at the payphone. She waited, the minutes stretching into hours. As midnight approached, her nerves were on edge. The phone rang right on time, and she snatched up the receiver. "Hello?" she asked, her voice steady despite her fear. No response, just heavy breathing on the other end. Sarah's pulse quickened. She could hear the muffled sound of someone sobbing softly. "Please tell me where you are. I want to help," she said, her voice trembling. The breathing stopped. There was a long, eerie silence. Then the voice returned, but this time it was more urgent, more distorted. In the darkness, under the ground. Before Sarah could ask more, the line went dead again. She hung up, her mind racing. What could be hidden beneath Maple Street? The next day, Sarah returned to the street with a shovel and flashlight. She walked to the old payphone and, driven by an inexplicable sense of dread, began digging. The ground was hard, but she persisted, her hands growing numb with cold. Hours later, she uncovered a small, weathered box. It was old, rusty, and covered in grime. Trembling, she pried it open. Inside were a few personal items, some jewelry, a locket, and a photograph of a young woman. Sarah's heart skipped a beat as she recognized the face in the photograph. It was Emily Parker. As she examined the box, Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. A sudden violent wind whipped around her, and the temperature plummeted. She turned to see the shadows lengthening, twisting unnaturally. The streetlights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the pavement. From behind her, she heard a faint whisper, almost lost in the wind. "Thank you." Sarah spun around, but the street was empty. The payphone was silent. She gathered the items and quickly left, her mind reeling. She took the box to the local authorities, who were skeptical but agreed to investigate further. That night, the town was abuzz with the news. The story of Emily Parker's disappearance was reopened, and with new evidence the case was soon resolved. Emily's remains were discovered buried beneath the payphone, her disappearance finally explained. The mystery that had haunted the town for decades was solved. Sarah never returned to Maple Street. The payphone was removed, and the street was repaved, but the eerie calls never came again. As for Sarah, she often thought of that chilling night and the desperate voice she had heard. Sometimes, as she lay in bed, she wondered if the spirits of the past were still reaching out from the darkness, waiting for someone to hear their final, haunting cries.